So I wanted to make this video and talk about the Star Fox franchise because if you guys haven't noticed as of late, the Star Fox franchise has been getting a lot of attention, and you can thank the Mario Galaxy movie for that because sure, there was people that knew what Star Fox was all of those years ago when it first came out, and then people that discovered it later in their lives, but also a lot of the focus that's coming on Star Fox is because of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, like I said, and you have people going back, playing the old games, you know, stuff like that. And what does Nintendo normally like to do when there's a lot of people that have eyes on their product? They make more games, which explains why we're getting a Star Fox game next month towards the end of June. And they also like to showcase more of it when it comes to Super Smash Bros. And sure, we don't know when the next Super Smash Bros. Game is, but it's still fun to talk about it when it comes to what the Star Fox franchise could potentially bring to the table the next time we get a game. Because I feel pretty confident that we're gonna get another Star Fox rep in the next Smash just because of everything that's going on right now. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be having fun. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own that you want to share with me that revolves around this topic, be sure to let me know. But without further ado, let's just dive straight into this conversation. So one of the biggest reasons why I even started thinking about the idea of another Star Fox representative getting added into the next Super Smash Bros. Game is honestly because it just feels like Nintendo has been putting a lot more focus on the Star Fox franchise again recently. And honestly, I don't think that's something people should just completely ignore, because whenever Nintendo starts bringing attention back to one of their older franchises, eventually your brain naturally starts wondering what other things could they possibly do with it moving forward. Because for a while there, it kind of felt like Star Fox was just sitting there in the background, not really doing much compared to some of Nintendo's other major franchises. But now, all of a sudden, it feels like there's actual momentum building around the series again. And honestly, one of the biggest reasons why people are paying attention to Star Fox again right now is because of Fox showing up in the Mario movie universe. Because once people saw Fox appear there, immediately everybody started talking about Star Fox again, and I think Nintendo fully understands that too. Like, they know Star Fox is still a recognizable franchise with a fan base that loves these characters. So when you combine that with the fact that Star Fox is also getting a brand new game next month in June, it really starts feeling like Nintendo might actually be trying to push the franchise more moving forward. And if that's the case, then honestly, I think it becomes very possible that Smash Bros. Could eventually reflect that as well. Because when you really think about it, Nintendo has always used Smash Bros. As a way to celebrate and promote their franchises at the same time. Like, yeah, Smash is obviously its own thing, but whenever certain franchises start getting more attention from Nintendo, you usually end up seeing that represented inside Smash in some way eventually. And that's honestly why I started wondering if Star Fox could end up getting another representative whenever the next Smash Bros. Game eventually happens. Because as of right now, we only have Fox, Falco, and Wolf representing the franchise. And honestly, for a Nintendo series as iconic as Star Fox, that honestly feels kind of small when you compare it to some of the other franchises inside of Smash. And the thing is, I'm not even saying that it's guaranteed or anything, because obviously we have no idea what the next Smash Bros. Roster is going to look like. Nintendo could go in a completely different direction for all we know, but at the same time, it feels like the timing makes a lot of sense right now. Star Fox is getting attention again, people are talking about the franchise more, and Nintendo clearly still remembers that these characters exist. So naturally, my brain immediately started going towards the idea of, okay, if they actually do add another Star Fox representative into Smash someday, then who would it even be? So when it comes to possible Star Fox characters getting added into the next Smash Bros. Game, honestly, there's a decent amount of characters you could realistically throw into the conversation. Like, obviously, the first characters people are probably going to think about are characters like Peppy and Slippy, because they're some of the most recognizable members of the Star Fox team outside of Fox himself. And honestly, I could see Nintendo at least considering them because they've been a part of the franchise for a long time, especially Slippy, because whether people love him or get annoyed by him sometimes, he's still one of the most iconic Star Fox characters overall. So I definitely think those two would at least be part of the discussion if Nintendo ever seriously sat down and thought about adding another Star Fox character. Then you also have somebody like James McCloud, which honestly could be really interesting if they wanted to do something similar to an Echo Fighter situation, because obviously James has a very strong connection to Fox as a character already. So I could easily see Nintendo looking at him and thinking they could build off some of Fox's moveset while still adding a little differences here and there. And honestly, Smash Bros. Has done stuff like that before, so I don't really think that idea is impossible at all, especially because James is still a pretty important character lore-wise when it comes to the Star Fox franchise overall. But honestly, one of the funniest ideas to me is still the possibility of Andros somehow getting into Smash. And I know for some people that probably sounds ridiculous at first, but people used to say the exact same thing about Ridley back in the day too. Everybody kept saying Ridley was too big to actually work as a playable Smash character, and then eventually Smash found a way to make it happen anyway. So honestly, at this point, I don't really rule anything out anymore when it comes to Smash Bros. Because this franchise has always found ways to surprise people with character choices that nobody thought would actually happen. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why Smash Bros. Discussions are always so fun in the first place, because you never really know what Nintendo is thinking behind the scenes. Like, for all we know, there could be a completely random Star Fox character that Nintendo loves that we're not even thinking about right now, or maybe by the time the next Smash Bros. Game comes out, the new Star Fox game introduces a brand new character that becomes insanely popular with fans, and suddenly that becomes the obvious pick. There's honestly so many different possibilities when it comes to this franchise, which is exactly why I wanted to sit down and talk about it in the first place. But honestly, if you ask me right now which Star Fox character I personally think has the best chance of becoming the next representative in Smash Bros., I would probably say Krystal, because the more I sit there and think about it, the more she honestly just feels like the character that makes the most sense overall if Nintendo truly wants to add another Star Fox fighter into the game. And one of the biggest reasons why I feel that way is because she would actually bring something unique gameplay-wise compared to other Star Fox characters that are already in Smash. Because right now, when you look at Fox, Falco, and Wolf, they obviously have differences, but they still share a lot of similarities with each other overall. Krystal, on the other hand, would actually feel completely different. And honestly, a huge reason for that is because of her staff, because when you really think about it, there honestly isn't really anybody in Smash Bros. Right now whose entire fighting style revolves around using a staff as their main weapon. So immediately that already helps her stand out from a gameplay perspective. And then when you start pulling moves directly from Star Fox Adventures, suddenly you realize she could actually have a really cool moveset. Like, I could easily see Nintendo giving her things like the Fire Blaster attack from the game, ice attacks from her staff, maybe even the Rocket Boost ability as part of a recovery move or movement options. There's honestly a lot that they could work with here. And then you have moves like a ground quake attack, which I think would actually look really cool inside Smash Bros. Because visually it would immediately help separate her from the rest of the Star Fox cast. Like, instead of just running around shooting lasers the whole time, you would actually have this character using magical staff abilities and elemental attacks mixed together with close range combat. And honestly, I think that would make her feel way more unique compared to just adding another Star Fox character that mostly fights similarly to Fox. Because if Nintendo does decide to add another Star Fox representative someday, I personally think they would probably want somebody who actually changes things up gameplay-wise. And honestly, if they gave Krystal a final smash, I could easily see it becoming something involving the Cloud Runner from Star Fox Adventures. Like, I could totally picture her hopping onto the Cloud Runner and just flying across the battlefield, causing complete chaos everywhere. And honestly, that would just look sick inside of Smash Bros. Overall. But at the end of the day, this is obviously all just speculation and me having fun talking about possibilities, because none of us truly know what Nintendo is planning right now. Still though, if Star Fox keeps getting pushed more moving forward, I do think there's a very real possibility we could eventually see another Star Fox representative added into the next Smash Bros. Game. And right now, Krystal honestly feels like the character that makes the most sense to me. And like I said, Star Fox has another game coming out next month, which is obviously a remake of Star Fox 64. Great game, by the way. and it's nice to see, you know, a modern version of it when it comes to, you know, what they're doing with it on the Switch 2, which, you know, just from a visual standpoint, the game looks gorgeous, especially the water. I don't know what it is with me with water. I said the same thing about Pokemon Winds and Waves the other day, but I just love how the environment just looks in that game. I'm just super excited to play it. But also, of course, you know, like I mentioned, there could eventually be another Star Fox game coming out in the near future that we're not really aware of, that comes out before the next Smash Bros. Game, because again, we don't really know if that's ever going to be a thing. But I feel pretty confident eventually it will happen. But you never know, there could be another game coming out around that point, and then character from that new Star Fox game. If Star Fox does get a new game around that time, maybe there's a lot of eyes on that character they get in. But I feel pretty confident with Krystal, so I'm going to say Krystal for the sake of this video, because I've always wanted her, and not only would it be cool, you know, gameplay wise with the staff, it would also add another female character in Smash Bros as well, which I'm always happy to see too. But that's all I have to say for this video. I had a lot of fun here talking about all these things. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own that you want to share with me, let me know in the comments. Very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know what Star Fox character you would absolutely love to see in the next Smash Bros game. And if you guys enjoy the video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out all of my socials in the description. Be sure to join my Discord server. Also, be sure to check out that bell so you can hit it and be notified whenever I drop a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.